So West Ham away to Freiburg in our first Europa League away game this season. Second group stage game, of course, after our victory against Baka Topola. No West Ham fans allowed at the game. One match away fan ban that we've got, of course, for the mindless and stupid throwing of the cups at the Fiorentina captain in the final of the Conference League in Prague. Yeah, the only blight on an otherwise glorious memory really means that me and so many other West Ham fans won't be able to go out to Germany for what promises to be an hugely entertaining tie. Freiburg joint on points with West Ham in the group, of course, after their thrilling 3-2 win away at Olympiacos in their first game. Delighted to say, joining us on the We Are West Ham podcast for the first time ever, it's huge Freiburg fan, Alex from Spodcast Freiburg. Alex, delighted to have you on the show. We always love talking to the fans of the European clubs ahead of these European games for West Ham. How's it going, first off?
Hello there. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure.
Greetings from Berlin, not from Freiburg.
Right.
In exile in Berlin, but I will travel down on Thursday morning. My train is going at 5 in the morning, and then I will have like 7 hours in the train to be part of in the stadium.
Yeesh.
Yeah. It's pretty much the longest distance from Berlin to Freiburg that you can have in Germany. It's the longest travel also for Freiburg. Yeah, so I'm pretty excited. Maybe you and West Ham fans are more used to European matchups than we are, but now it's still the second time in a row for us.
Yeah. I mean, only just through the last couple of seasons, really. We're obviously at the Europa League the season before last, got to the semi-finals, lost to Eintracht Frankfurt. Of course, that was my most recent and first ever trip to Germany, I think, for that game out there. And still, even though we lost, of course, still one of my greatest football memories, an excellent atmosphere, an excellent stadium. You know, all the people and the locals were really friendly, really enjoyed it. And, you know, we've had such a wild, exciting, fun ride on the European journey the last couple of seasons. And on this week's podcast, we've got Joey Brophy on from Heineken, one of UEFA's main partners. And he was saying the same thing, really, what a great thing it is for these two European competitions, the Europa League and the Conference League, to have clubs and give clubs a chance to play European football who wouldn't normally have it. And is it fair to say Freiburg fans are looking at the competitions the same way?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as I said before, we had it last year also with the group stage from the EuroLeague, with a big highlight against Juventus Turin when we lost there and went out in the round of best of 16. It's called in German. Yeah. So that was pretty nice, and it's a new feeling for Freiburg fans to, I mean, if you would have talked to me 5 years ago or 10 years ago, everything would be about not getting relegated or just being a good role in the Bundesliga. And now we developed like in a very, very good and stable way. So second time in a row is crazy because I don't know if you got the experience. Obviously, the Premier League is a strong league, but when you are and you have the cups also, all the matches. But when you are in like different championships and cups, you have so many matches that usually we have been in the international cups and EuroLeague before, but usually when we are that, then it's all about not getting relegated and just to you have so many matches and not the squad of like 30 people like other teams do. So, but now, second time in a row, we are happy. I'm halfway, maybe going to London in the end of December. It would be great, but not sure yet.
Yeah, TBC. But look, I mean, it sounds like Freiburg very similar to West Ham. You know, only 4 years ago, to be honest, the season before we qualified for the Europa League, we nearly went down. It came down to the last game of the season, and you know, managed to managed to stay up, and that has been the story for most West Ham fans. Certainly for most of my life, it's been more relegation battles than it has been glorious European adventures, quite honestly. But look, before we sort of get into the game on Thursday, Alex, just tell me a little bit for those listening who don't know. First of all, where is Freiburg? You've said it's 7 hours away from Berlin, so whereabouts is it? And then just give us a little bit of a lowdown, sort of on the club, a bit of history, recent history, and what would West Ham fans who don't know anything about Freiburg at the moment, what do they need to know about your team?
Yeah, all right. Maybe the most important thing is our current coach, Christian Streich, is here now in his 12th year in a row. We had a coach in the end of 90s and the beginning of 2000s where we had Volker Finke. He was here for 16 years. So we are like a club that is, we had like 5 coaches in the last 30 years, so altogether.
Yeah.
So we are like having stability and continuity. It's very important it's like the mentality of the whole club, I would say.
Yeah.
Location at the 3-country border to Switzerland and France, you would say. So it's like all the southwest. So obviously we have also some fans coming from these countries, and also some years ago we were also scouting and having talents from France and from Switzerland. Also, that's like a USP from us that we are coming from that region. Like FC Basel from Switzerland, or Strasbourg from France, and etc. Papis Demba Cissé came from France, for example, a long time ago. You remember him from Newcastle. Yeah, exactly. So in the 90s we went up to the first division for the first time with our former coach Volker Finke, who was here for 16 years, and then it was pretty much every year about staying in the Bundesliga. And of course we went down sometimes, but also went up directly. So it became like a top 25 club in Germany, you could say, always between the first league and the second league.
Yeah, sure.
And now it's, I even don't know, it's the 6th, 7th, 8th year in a row where we are in the Bundesliga right now. No relegation. And as I said before, our current coach, he likes to do the same thing at our coach before in the 90s, staying here for a long time. And the development in the last years, it very looks like it that we passed over is maybe wrong, but we like are better than some teams that have been better than us in the last years. We did a pretty good job, so continuity works out, I guess.
Amazing. I mean, I love hearing stories like yours, because as much as when West Ham get into these competitions, you want to play big occasions against big teams. But I think that what I found most sort of, I don't know, heartwarming or whatever, however you want to put it, about last season's run, and I spoke to several Eintracht Frankfurt fans and fans of Rangers as well, who got to the Europa League semi-final, chatting to Fiorentina fans as well. Of course you want to play against big clubs, and I'd love it if we, in the Europa League, as Eintracht did that season, I'd love it if West Ham drew Barcelona or something like that. But what I think I love more is talking to fans of clubs who aren't used to success or are used to seeing their team struggle, or, you know, perhaps like you're talking about relegation and promotions. That has been West Ham's existence for a long time. So I do enjoy chatting to fans who are of a similar mindset and not so much used to success. But you're going reasonably well at the moment, Alex. A 2-0 win over Augsburg at the weekend. A great start to your Europa League campaign in a thrilling match against Olympiacos. What's the feeling among Freiburg fans at the moment about your current form and the way the team are going?
Yeah, the form was maybe to the Augsburg game. The thing you said with West Ham and Freiburg and similar fans, like it makes you appreciate wins more than being a top club fan, right? I think that's the most important thing. Now we are getting used to win more often than before, so maybe that will change some things. But yeah, we will see about that. Our current form, pretty mixed, I would say. Not as good as last year. We had some problems. I mean, in the last year, our best thing was our defense. So maybe very important to say about our coach or about our system is that all players are fighting against the ball, like defensively, from the first striker to the last defender. Everyone is like, it doesn't even mean if you're pressing high or low, just everyone is knowing that you have to give 100% like defensively. But this year we had some problems. We conceded 5 goals against Stuttgart and 4 goals against Dortmund in our 2 losses that we had this season. So our defense was not as stable as last year. That was like the defense was like our best thing last year. But now 2 games in a row and in the Bundesliga with no conceded goal and the 3-2 victory to Olympiacos. The form is getting better, and we had some detailed hiccups in the first weeks. Like our captain was injured now, and he will be out with a broken arm for several months actually. And he's our left back, Christian Günther. He's out. And then our most important defensive midfielder, Nicolas Höfler, he got suspended for 3 weeks because he got a red card in the game against Dortmund. So, pretty much mixed up feelings for the first matches. But I think we are getting stable right now, and the young players who are jumping in, they're like getting their minutes, and I think I'm pretty positive about the game on Thursday.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, what's the feeling among Freiburg fans? I know I've sort of got a sense of it so far, but what's the feeling among Freiburg fans about the European competitions? You were in the Europa League, you mentioned last year, and is there a general sense of excitement or positivity or prioritising it? Because from my point of view, West Ham fans were pretty split last season, but it's such a novelty for me watching my team play in Europe that I want us to just go both barrels and full steam ahead at the European competitions, do as best we can in those. And then if that means that the Premier League form takes or suffers a little bit, then so be it, and then fair enough. But is it the same among Freiburg fans, or is it very much a secondary priority, if you like?
I would say it's the same. Eintracht Frankfurt did exactly the same thing in the Bundesliga, went all in the international games.
Yeah.
Now, but it's still the case that many like older or more traditional fans, but also our coach and the whole club mentality is the most important thing is to not get relegated. So they are always, even if we are now, it's very, you couldn't think about being relegated this year. We are just too good, to be honest.
Yeah.
But the coach is saying no, it's dangerous, and when they lose one game, it's like, okay, this season can be a difficult situation, etc. So everyone is saying, like in Germany, we always say the 40 points mark or something like that.
Yeah, if you get 40 points, England,
which isn't even true, because teams can be in the same division like with 30 points or something like that. Yeah. So personally, I would say yes, please concentrate on Europe and on traveling and on fan highlights for everyone.
Yeah.
But I think still. So last year, for example, we started very good into the Bundesliga season. So we had like a buffer to the lower regions of the table. So then it was okay to like push on the Euro League. And but at the same time, we had a very good group stage last year, so we could like concentrate a little bit where the 3 points are more important. But it's still a highlight. I mean, we have been last year to Juventus Turin, for example. But for me, it's still crazy to play against West Ham or Olympiacos was a bit sad because we had them last year already in our group
right.
stage, so it was not the same feeling, and fans were like having the same destination. But yeah, I mean, concentration on Europe, I guess, for me.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I sort of, I know what you mean. I just find it so amazing that I'm watching West Ham play in Europe that, I can't understand how anyone manages to turn their nose up at it or suggest that it somehow isn't as important as being average in the Premier League again. But yeah,
I mean, it's not the money, right? So,
what's that?
So getting relegated is more expensive for the club than one more round in the Euro League.
Of course. Yeah.
But I got a fun fact for you. It's our first game against an English team all time.
Really?
No competition. We had a game against the English team. So I'm very looking forward to like getting the comparison between Freiburg and the Premier League team, because it's always hard to compare teams from different leagues, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So this will be nice.
Yeah, I think that is a fun fact, to be honest. I think what I noticed when we played in the Europa League, playing against Sevilla and Lyon, of course, and then Eintracht Frankfurt in the semis. I think if it wasn't for Aaron Cresswell's red card in the away leg, Eintracht scored within 3 minutes of the first leg at London Stadium, and then Aaron Cresswell got sent off within the same sort of time frame in the away leg, which really killed the tie. I do honestly feel like Leipzig obviously lost to Rangers in the other semi-final, which was a bit of a surprise. I sort of feel like West Ham are probably, between the 7th and 10th or 11th best team in the Premier League, which seems to match up be about the same or slightly worse than the sort of 4th to 6th, 7th best teams in Germany. Obviously, Fiorentina, we were about the same level. That game could have gone either way. I feel that just obviously there's so much strength in the top 5 teams in the Premier League at the moment that when and so much money basically that just to be the best of the rest of those teams still puts you on par with the best of the rest in the other leagues in Europe, if you know what I mean. But talking of obviously money and star players and that sort of thing, I've had a little look through your squad. I think it's Max Phillip who scored one of your goals out in Olympiacos. That name sort of leaps out at me. Other than that, I think it's fair to say that the Freiburg squad's not littered with household names in London and names that we'd have particularly heard of. Talk me through some of your star players and who West Ham fans should be watching out for on Thursday night in Germany.
So our coach would answer our star is the team. That would be the first answer. But of course we also have some players now who are like top level, and really years ago they would have left earlier, and now we are able to money wise but also from the sports side to be attractive enough that they like continue their contract and stay in Freiburg. So that's like also the development. We lost Mark Flecken to Brentford.
The goalkeeper, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we have a young talent who is now our first goalkeeper. He's like 21 years old. That's very young for a number 1 keeper in the Bundesliga. He got a little bit under pressure now in the first games because we conceded some goals, but the club is stable enough to like back him, and there are no discussions that he will be number 2 or something like that. Then, especially last year.
What's that guy's name? Sorry, what's his name?
Sorry, I'm used to have a Freiburg podcast and everyone knows that name. So exactly. In the defense, our 2 players who like are regular starters, no doubt about it, when they are fit. It's like Matthias Ginter, like German international player, played for Dortmund. And we have Philipp Lienhardt, who plays for Austria. And they are really top level, maybe one of the best like duos in the center back that you can have in the Bundesliga.
Right.
So our really big positive point there in the squad. I mentioned Christian Günther, our left back, who is our captain like for 10, 11, 12 years now. But he is injured, so he will be out. Höfler, who I mentioned, the center midfielder, he is only suspended in the Bundesliga, obviously.
Yeah.
So he can concentrate he is 33 years old, so he can concentrate his like power and stamina and strength for the Euro, which is kind of funny because he was very good. He was like one of the best players against Olympiacos. So we hope he is repeating that on Thursday. And of course, we have to mention Vincenzo Grifo, I would say, Italian. He like sometimes he is in the squad, sometimes not. He is aiming for, of course, the European Championship 24 to be part of the Italian squad. And his main strength is set pieces. So he is brilliant free kicks, brilliant penalties also. So when we get a penalty, like we did in the 4th minute yesterday against Augsburg, you are pretty much not nervous at all that he will miss. He's like, it's just a technique, also the mentality in his head, but the technique from shooting the penalties, but also corners. So we are good on corners and on set pieces overall, free kicks that get into the penalty area. So these are pretty much the names, I would say. Of course, we have some more names. Roland Schalai is pretty good in form on the right side. Ritz Doan, he's from Japan, a small guy, very technique, very nice from the right side, left-footed, like inverse. Some interesting players.
What sort of style and sort of formation do West Ham fans expect from Freiburg on Thursday? And how do you expect the game to play out, sort of style-wise?
For me, it's West Ham is pretty much a counter-attacking football team, right? Or could you say so?
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, so it would be in West Ham's interest to let us have the ball and trying to get the ball and make fast counterattacks.
Yeah. I think we beat Chelsea earlier this season with 22% possession, I think. Yeah.
Okay. So Freiburg is pretty variable, flexible with their system. They can play 3 in the back. They can play 4 in the back. Also a good thing of many players staying in the club for a long time with the same coach. So they can adapt like systems and formations pretty easy. Yesterday against Augsburg, we changed not the players, but the system in the halftime. So some players in the defense played different positions, but without having to substitute anyone. That's pretty good. But we are comfortable with having the ball also. So we are not the counter attack team because we have a little bit lack of speed, I would say, in the offense. So I would expect then that West Ham is giving Freiburg the ball and Freiburg will have the ball, and just not trying to make any super dangerous mistakes in the own half or something like that. But pretty exciting. Obviously, sorry for interrupting. I don't watch West Ham games that often. Sorry for that. But you know how it is. I don't expect you to watch Freiburg games that often.
No, quite.
If you watch games from another league, then it's mostly like top games, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I did miss Freiburg v Augsburg at the weekend, I must admit. I did miss that one.
No, but you did watch that? No, you didn't.
No, I missed it.
Okay. You didn't miss anything. It was a trash game. So if you would be neutral and not fan from either of the one sides, you didn't miss anything.
No, quite.
No.
So what obviously looking ahead to Thursday, just before we let you go, is do you expect a 5 at the back or a 4 at the back system from Freiburg, or is it all depends on the day?
It depends on the day. Our coaching team is very, I would say, so I don't have the comparison to many other clubs, but I would think they are very, very into scouting the opponents and making video analysis and etc. So they will watch West Ham games and have their analysis and like think or decide what they think is best from the formation side. But we played 3 in the back the last 3 games, and the last 2 games were without a goal against us. Right. And I would think that if I would make a decision, or I have to make a decision right now, I would say 3 in the back. But yeah, they can surprise also with some ideas.
Well, will the Freiburg fans and manager, obviously, with West Ham and Freiburg both level on points at the top of the group at the moment, will the fans and the manager be happy with the draw from this game, or are you very much looking to win?
I think they always want to win. We are not the team, I guess, who goes into a game and tries to draw. But it's difficult to say. I would say it really turns out how the feeling is after 10 minutes, 20 minutes, after the first half. I mean, even for me, it's really hard to say to when the comparison. I mean, I looked at the bookies. No, no sports betting advertising here. No, I don't mean it like that.
Yeah.
But I looked at is it quotes, or how do you say that? It's equal for both sides. So there's no favorite in the game now playing in Freiburg. It's hard to say. But for me, after Juventus now last year, it's pretty much one of the biggest opponents name-wise as a team that we have had all time. So that's why I'm traveling down, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm not surprised at all. A bit of a shame that no West Ham fans are going to be there. Would have added to the atmosphere, of course, but no doubt an exciting encounter. How is
your feeling about that?
Yeah, I think it's just stupid, really. I don't know why supporters are throwing plastic cups at players. Yeah. Like, it's just ridiculous. And now, because of that means most of those people who were launching cups at the Fiorentina captain would have been the fans who would have gone to this game away in Freiburg. It would have been a new stadium and a new team for West Ham fans to be able to go to. Promises to be a really good occasion. Yeah, and because you thought it'd be funny to throw a plastic cup at a player, we don't get to do that now. I think it's absolutely brainless. So, what's the capacity of the Freiburg Stadium?
35,000 now.
All right, so that'll be a sellout, will it?
Yeah, that would be definitely a sellout. The stadium is new. We are there now for the 2nd year. Yes, we moved 2 years ago. Before it was 10,000 less. It's like the new home now, and they're getting used to it. And the atmosphere is pretty good. It's a pretty loud stadium, but to be honest, I, of course, as a football fan, I rather would have that West Ham fans are there too. So
sure,
you're there for the atmosphere and maybe for the beer in the pub afterwards and like talking about the game and stuff. So that's a shame.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Well, look, Alex, it's been absolutely brilliant having you on the We Are West Ham podcast for the first time ever, looking ahead to Thursday night's game, Freiburg v West Ham, 5:45 kickoff UK time. No West Ham fans there, of course. The top 2 in a Europa League group go head to head, and you do sort of sense that if either team is able to come out of this with a win, that will do their qualification hopes the world of good. So, Alex, before we let you go, What's your score prediction for Thursday night?
So, because you asked me if I would take the draw, I take the draw now. Let's make it a 1-1, maybe.
Yeah. It sounds like it could be a 1-1 written all over it. But look, Alex, really appreciate you coming on the podcast for the first time ever. I hope to speak to you again ahead of the second leg. I hope you enjoy it Thursday. Not too much, of course, but Alex from Spodcast Freiburg there, chatting ahead to that Europa League game.